Good afternoon, everybody. It's 12:02 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Welcome to your MOCA Weekly Town Hall. My name is Max. With me is Renee. Everybody else is out sick or out busy, so it'll just be the two of us today. And we're so happy to be with you. Renee, how are you? What's going on?
Doing good.
Excellent. We should just jump right into what everyone wants to be here for. We should just jump right into what we wanted to do with today's episode, which is oh, look at that, we get an Untitled.
Yoo-hoo.
Didn't think you were coming.
I'm pretty. Are we live right now?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm a little under the weather.
No worries.
All right, we got a healthy Max, a microphone wounded Renee, and a outwardly sick Untitled, and we're gonna award some free decos. Why don't we just get right on with that? What do you think, Renee? Or do you want to beat around the bush a little bit?
Yeah, we can start.
Yeah, let's go to the way.
We can start.
We for those of you who are watching who did not get a chance to enter, sorry about that. We put up a post last week. We were going to pick 3 winners who retweeted and tagged their friends and followed the Art Deco's Twitter account to receive some free decos. We have 6 free decos that we are sending out. We are going to pick 3 winners. A third place winner gets a deco, a second winner gets a deco, and then our first place winner not only gets a deco for themselves, but all 3 of their friends or colleagues or whoever they tagged will also get a deco. So Renee has brought up this wonderful little wheel, and why don't we fucking spin that shit?
Should we first ask the deco that we are awarding who they are? I already spun up an Eliza's container.
Yeah.
So we can ask Care what's up with her.
When was the last time you had a NFT giveaway and asked the NFT what they want? Do they want to be given away? Do they want their new owner?
Wow, this is going so much faster. I haven't played with it since you updated the APIs.
Bonjour, kindred spirit.
So weird.
Okay.
All of the it's all aquatic.
Let's find out who's the winner.
Okay, excellent. So this will be third place.
Yes. Mr. Nice.
Mr. Nice.
And congratulations to Mr. Nice 10. I'll add all these to the I'll comment all of these on the stream below. So that we can get everyone aware of who won. Mr. Nice 10. Wow.
ID 333 335 Care. You will be sent to Mr. Nice. Make sure to behave while serving. Not serving.
A little bit too obese.
Well, we can.
We're imagining a partnership amongst these AIs, not a.
We don't do the Elon thing.
What's the Elon thing?
Elon thing is the half-naked anime girls. Okay, next one. Next one is 336. The overview.
Cell, Daria, Maria, Paula. Those are better names than I can come up with in any fiction story I was writing.
Sal is going to be
I'm curious about this development.
It's funny, they like it's still the case where like they all sound like people, but you can tell that there's like they're not people. Like there are little, I don't know, it's amazing just like the subconscious cues.
Yeah.
Diane really did a great job with these.
So cool.
Pretty dope.
What do you think Zhejiang's hills are? Define the Chinese province.
Ooh. Crypto Earth.
Congratulations, Crypto Ert. You are getting for free. You're getting not only are you getting a deco, you're getting a deco named Cell. I can tell you a lot about Zhejiang's hills. There's no way this thing is going to know. It's gonna be like, oh, great.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know him from Twitter.
Oh, wow.
Sweet.
That's
So
good.
sweet.
Very nice.
Next one is.
Okay, hold on. Can we just go back to the Eliza OS interface for 1 second? So that was third place to Mr. Knight.
Walata.
He's going to receive our Deco 336. That's Care. Crypto Ert going to receive Deco 337. That's Cell. Our first place winner announced right now is going to receive.
Walata.
Well, okay, so
Walata is like this one, 337.
I think that
so we had 335, 336, and now it's 337.
Do you think we give the winner a choice of which of these four to get, or do you think we just throw them out ourselves? Like the winner gets 337, their friends get 338, 339, 340. I do kind of feel like the winner should be able to choose between the four.
Yeah, we just send all the three to the winner, and then or the remaining four to the winner, and then he can decide which of the three others he wants to forward, right?
And we will figure out what the best thing to do, whether you guys want to collect wallet address or whether you want to collect a wallet address for us, and we can send those over directly, whether we want to just send them all to you, and we'll go from there. Well, yeah, why don't we spin that wheel and figure out who's going to win 4 decos?
Yeah. 4 decos go to Woody Woo.
Woody Woox. Well, congratulations, Woody Woox. You have won our introductory decos contest. This is I best we can say is it's a proof of concept for getting rid of all of these decos that we have on hand. If you're watching, congratulations. We'll tweet about this I'll tweet about this after the town hall, but I'll reach out to you through the Museum of Crypto Art Twitter account so that we can get these decos in your hands. Congratulations to all of our winners. That was pretty fun. It was a lot. I want to just commend you, Renee, because that was a lot easier than I think it seemed like it was going to be on Tuesday when we were talking about how we were actually going to reveal this.
It's all about the preparation.
All about the preparation. But there was a moment there where you kept bringing up very specific and very good nuances that would make a live reveal difficult. And I appreciate that you were able to.
Yeah, I sorted out like all of our like official stuff, like team members accounts, so that we couldn't win, and prepared the list so we can just copy paste into this Wheel of Names service.
Why don't you walk us through some of the new stuff in the Vibe Studio?
Yeah, like we had this old something you can do while we are on stream even. Update the bio link of the official MOCA account. So we had this old website on the bio, this yat, emoji.yat.
Was that like an old link tree?
Yeah, it's like an old Web3 link tree that we created years ago. And we have like various like resources in here that were like gathered. And we have ensured that all of these important ones are added into the Vibe Studio. And now we also have a search bar. So for example, one of these was like the manifesto. So you can also find the manifesto by just typing it.
Did you make these all yourself? How did you prompt these? Because I love each time you make one of these apps, that it has one of these new like little graphics with this character doing something. They're all so creative and so fun. Like the podcast one is hysterical.
So I created this one, the MOCA Live one, which leads to the Spotify. Maybe we can.
Excellent. Still hanging at 98 episodes.
Yeah, to be continued.
We're gonna have to address that at some point.
And then we have the these ones are old. Also the NFT one. This one was an old icon. But I created this one. This one was a new one. So we have the manifesto, which is the original manifesto of the museum that's now in the Vibe Studio. We have an overview from our Notion, which is now a standalone page that has like all our exhibitions in the metaverse, also in real life with photos and stuff. That was kind of hidden in the old Yacht page. Now everything is a bit more present.
Can we hang on for a second? Can we go back to that for a moment? That page. So it's so funny. That was 16th of October 2021 when that was written. That was probably the week that I came onto the museum, and so like that was probably the week that like I don't know, I released the first essay, but it was like around that time. It was like mid-October 2021, and so I was not at that exhibition, but I remember seeing pictures, and I had really no context for the museum whatsoever. I really didn't know, like I knew what it was about, but I didn't really like know all the activities. And in my head,
this one in particular,
I just saw the pictures. It was like, wow, like physical exhibition. I didn't know where it was. It wasn't in the US, I think, right? It was somewhere.
It was in Germany.
It was in Germany, and I was like, this is so cool. Like, am I going to get to like, travel around all these art exhibitions? I think that was our last physical exhibition of crypto art.
Yeah, it was like in the ballroom or something. I think people usually celebrate weddings there at a variety theater that friends are running in their real life. And we asked them if we can do an art exhibition in that room. So we had this area for the evening and could like put TVs there, and we're like organizing that. It was pretty cool.
It's just such a remnant of that time of 2021. Yeah. Like little kind of DIY crypto art exhibition, like a wonderful space.
Race to the bottom of the moon.
Untitled, did you put this one together?
No, I don't. I don't remember this one.
I don't remember this one either. I was on for this one. History of crypto art. Where was this? In Barcelona?
Barcelona. You were exhibited though. Artist Untitled XYZ.
What?
I mean, it's interesting that all of this was kind of lost, and now it is like, you know, back here. So you just take exhibitions,
very cool.
And you find our exhibitions.
I totally forgot about the processing 20th anniversary one in some namespace. If you scroll down a couple rows, yes, processing org on the left, up a little bit. Yeah, forgot about that one. That was so cool.
What was it?
We need to add more photos. Also, the header, you should like get it out here and put it in here again. But
yeah,
you know, we can now curate this a bit more and find stuff that's missing and just like put it in as well. Probably Anubis knows stuff that's not here.
It's almost as if we have collectively decided that there's so little exhibition and curation of crypto art that any actual example of curation and exhibition we've like scrubbed from our memory. Like I forgot all of this. Like I remember like the Riesgo País was the crypto org one that we helped I think helped curate. Actually, I know we did because I have the book right here.
Nice. That was super cool.
That was super cool. Well produced, see? MOCA and Infinite Objects. I don't know if it's backwards on my camera, but
they had great swag there. Great publication. Great graphics.
It is a shame that within the, I mean, we've talked about this in so many ways, so many different times, but like I remember those first NFT NYCs that I went to, and there was just like so much going on, and there was so little and part of it was like there was a backbone of like price euphoria. So all these people had money to do things, and there were people who had money to travel and like, once the money was, since it was kind of settled, it was okay, I think, to like focus on the art because people weren't distracted by like their financial concerns. But like, man, it was so cool going to these like small exhibitions and talking with artists in front of their own work, about their work. Like that's an experience I've had so infrequently, and especially because a lot of those works, like it wasn't like they were necessarily like there was the grand unveiling of like one artist's work for sale. It was way more about like the collective exhibition. And so artists were like just cool. They weren't selling you the work. They were just talking about the work. I remember talking to Okitomo about a work he had at the Riesgo Pais exhibition, and he just kind of walked me through like the technical process, and I thought that was so cool. I had no idea how 3D art was made. I still have no idea how 3D art was made, but he was telling me like how he got these assets and how he made this and what like his thinking was with the composition, why he wanted to add this thing. It was some kind of video, and there were like tropical birds flying around this landscape. It's so rare to actually get that kind of discussion in the space now. I'm not totally sure why or necessarily what's missing. Maybe I'm being a bit of a negativist, and so I'm searching for like technical discussion when I'm only presented with like ideological discussion and vice versa. But just like hearing artists talk about like how they actually made their work, I feel like is just so unsexy. I don't know. It just doesn't really happen these days. Again, maybe I'm being like willfully in denial.
Yeah, I really hope that comes back. I mean,
it was just really special. I mean, there's someone like I came into crypto art and I was complete. I was like a complete ignoramus about art making processes, especially digital art making processes, and it was just so interesting to like learn about these tools and like see how people would use these tools. And I don't know. I guess we really only get that with like a discussion of like, I don't know, generative art. Sometimes a discussion of like all the parameters put into like a generative art, like long form generative art project. But I don't know. Maybe there's just like way more of an assumption that people, that the layperson, including myself, even like the scholarly, knows like what these technical processes are. I was doing I was helping Brian Droitcore, whose name I'm sure I'm mispronouncing, do some work writing artwork descriptions a couple months ago, and a lot of the work was either generative or algorithmic art, and like I just realized I didn't know anything about it. I was not able to write about any of these things, not able to describe them with any kind of technical know-how whatsoever. There's so much specificity in terms of these tools. Like just learning about what like a PJ5S or P5JS. You guys know what I'm talking about? It was one of those two things. Help me out. Was one of those correct?
Yeah, I thought that was right.
One of the I think P5JS, but either way, like encountering that toolkit, it's like an online toolkit for like art making practices or art making processes that Casey Rios helped build. And like having never come in contact with it, having just seen like the like acronym before, and I don't know, it really made me kind of feel a bit self-conscious. Like I write about this all the time. I know so much about the space, and yet like I really have no background in the technical processes. I have no ability to like understand the software from the software's point of view. And there's very few writers in the space. I think there's some of the best writers in the space, but very few who can actually do that. I don't know. I found it helpful when I would like find out like how this art was actually being made. Then years later, like the AI kind of revolution starts, and artists are very careful with what kinds of like how they are revealing or publicizing their prompts. I know like Claire Silver is like famously secretive about like how she actually prompts her artworks, and that's just kind of like status quo, is to almost keep these things secret. I don't know if that's a positive or a negative for artists and for the art.
Yeah, I mean, you should like keep some secret sauce, I would say.
I mean, you should definitely keep. Yes, Untitled, please.
Oh no. I mean, I get it. I get the secret sauce element. But I also think like sharing is caring.
Yeah,
But it's hard to monetize when you share and care too much.
exactly.
But again, okay, I'm going to go on a tangent here a bit, but like lay people don't know what the fuck they're looking at. Even educated people in this space don't really know all the time what they're looking at and how that thing came to be. It's different than looking at a painting or a sculpture where it's like, okay, maybe I don't know exactly like how you soldered these two pieces of metal together, but like I generally understand how like a metal sculpture was made, right? How it was like pieced together. And it's like the ideological basis of that work that is why it becomes valuable, right? Like, if you go to Storm King, which is this big sculpture garden, these massive sculptures out in like upstate New York or like mid-state New York by the Catskills, like you see these big sculptures. It's not like I don't know how a like metal sculpture is made, or it's not like the very idea that I know how a metal sculpture is made like dilutes the value of that work. And yet there is this, I think you're right, Renee, there is this like idea with digital art that if you reveal the tools by which you use the tools you use to like within your process, that it somehow like devalues your art or makes you replicable, which
I
is
mean, it
just
depends. Like you can reveal the tools, but you don't have to reveal exactly how you use it. But you can also, like, of course, reveal everything and be so confident about it, your next steps, that you understand that nobody can replicate your next trail of thought and the next iteration of what you just opened up. But it kind of depends. It depends on the storytelling, the mysticy that the artist is trying to convey.
I just think that like it's not a negative if a layperson is going to approach a work and they're just going to see digital images on a screen that there is some discussion of how those digital images came to be, right?
Mhm.
Like, okay, I know Blender is a 3D image software, but like I don't understand what makes like how to manipulate things in Blender. Like I would love to have an artist. I'm not asking for someone to tell me how they created a work, but like I don't know, demonstrate to me why this specific process led to this outcome, right? We don't have with digital art the benefit of like approaching a painting, right? And seeing the like layers of paint and seeing the impastos and seeing like the three-dimensional like curls and swirls of paint that like I couldn't possibly replicate if I'm looking at a Picasso painting, but I like it's not a secret. If somebody who is very well trained can look at that work and say like, oh, I basically understand how he did this, even if I can't do it myself. I don't know. I'm not sure the mystery is helpful in these circumstances. Like I think it's more, or at least equally interesting to me, to learn the novel approaches that an artist took with this work. I don't know.
I mean, you could reveal the tools, like the type of paint or whatever, which types of brush you used, but that still doesn't allow you to replicate the exact piece, which is if you would give away the exact angle and the exact amount of paint at any given point in time that you used and how you moved the brush over the paper, or like the entire instructions of the manual like labor that was flowing into like the final creation, from zero to the final piece. That's basically the prompt. If you explain the tools, which might be like the model, maybe the platform, the hardware that you were using, and then like that's like the brush and like the tooling that you use. But as soon as you reveal the exact prompt in combination with the tools, you could like replicate the exact piece when it comes to AI art.
But who would, right? Like, say,
Well,
I mean, like Untitled, you created the Unmuseums using Trellis, right? Trellis and Cursor, am I correct?
no. Trellis. Well, Flux and Trellis. If
Flux
we're
and
talking
Trellis.
like,
Like, even if you were to walk through, like, you were to take a 30-minute video, 30-minute live video, and walk through your entire creation process, like, A, it's very unlikely that somebody is going to create the exact same works that you do and then try and sell those works, right? When they're clearly like untitled works. Like, unless you have like a more successful artist stealing from a less successful artist, which seems less likely, because if they were successful, why would they deviate so strongly from like what they've been doing to like go imitate somebody else? Like, I don't know what the fear is necessarily. Like, would you fear being copied if you were to be too kind of flippant with your technical process?
Well, I mean, I think it very much. I've learned over the years it varies so much. It depends. It depends on the artist, and I don't know. I think some of my earliest experiences, let's say 2016 Steam, which was I bring it up every so often. It was a kind of cryptocurrency powered blogging platform. I remember the very first times I posted on there, I treated it kind of like Twitter. I posted an image of an artwork and I got no upvotes, or like one or two. And there was an illustrator there at the time who actually reached out to me and said, not really how this thing works. Like, share your process. Like, this is this is a platform about transparency. Here's an example of what I do. And I went to her name was Fairy Tale Life. This is one of the first people who got me into crypto, honestly. And I go to her page. She's an illustrator, does really beautiful illustrations. And she goes page by page to show, like, here's how I draw a rabbit. Here's how I then, put together this story of all of these different creatures in an illustration. And this is my thought process. And it was really revealing to me, because I hadn't at the time really seen a lot of artists talk about their work like that, and really reveal the sketchbook, so to speak. And so I tried that, and I started basically taking screenshots from me modeling 3D in Rhino and talking about it, and even sharing the files back then. I didn't know it was called CC0 at the time, but it was just me posting the files and saying, go for it. But yeah, I think a lot of it is culture. Like, what is the culture? Is the culture sharing? Is it this kind of like knowledge sharing culture? Or, this is also at a time when people were getting kind of financially incentivized to share that stuff, because they were earning cryptocurrency a little bit, at least. So I don't know. I think it very much, it varies. There's certainly a lot of value in the mystique of a process, because it keeps you guessing.
Let me, we'll just respond to that.
No, go for it.
Which is like, physical art has the benefit of having understandable processes and an immediately recognizable level of difficulty. Like, I know when I see a kind of painting, I've always felt this about Van Gogh, and I'm not saying that Van Gogh is like specifically like a great artist, but I know that when I see a Van Gogh painting in real life and I see the kind of swirls of paint, all the colors working together, and the kind of texture in those paintings, that there is something intrinsically difficult about like what he did and like how his process, what his process of painting was, right? Because it's not so easily imitated elsewhere. There is just like an automatic sense of the complexity of his style, right? Digital art does not necessarily have that, because like, I don't think the like lay people intrinsically understand the difficulty of like making one work have a certain texture or bring out a certain colors, or how you arrive at a form, a shape, a face, whatever, right? It's not really obvious. And so how does the digital artist separate their unique technical brilliance from the next?
It's all a matter of exposure. Like, we only kind of appreciate the craftsmanship of oil painting or acrylic because a lot of us at least went through some sort of painting class at some point in elementary school, middle school, high school, or college. And like, we've been confronted with it so much. We've seen the history books, we've gone to the museums. It's very much entrenched in us to kind of appreciate that type of craftsmanship. And with digital art, it just simply hasn't had the same timeline. like most people aren't as kind of familiar with the process, the tools, and that kind of thing. But I guarantee you, though, I like a lot of the builders that I chat with are like, they see a 3D work and they're like, I recognize that. Like, I know how they did
Mhm.
that. And oh, that is that this person totally grifted like a bunch of libraries and put them together and rendered it nice. And that's cheating. You know,
Yeah,
like,
like the story they are telling is just not true.
yeah. Like man, I see that all the time in 3D art where I'm like, this gets a lot of likes, but it's I'm pretty sure this person stole that.
I hear your point, and yet, crypto art at its most valuable level is reaching out to a traditional art world contingent of collectors and admirers that are not going to be well versed in this, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like the builders like yourself and like you're discussing who will recognize the presence of an asset from a GitHub repository, like that is not the market that crypto art at a certain level seems to have any interest in going towards. They want further afield, less knowledgeable, more aesthetics driven. And I'm not sure. My assumption would be that most people are not going to be, so knowledgeable about GitHub repositories that they're going to understand like where one asset came from or recognize the presence of kind of like one stylistic choice in somebody else's work. And
Totally.
so
Totally.
I wonder if, it's almost like it's barking up the wrong tree. Like we need the technical discussion to convince or to inform the kind of a kind of layperson why, artwork X is so special, so worthy of collection, so worthy of admiration.
Totally. No, it's a maturity thing. Like it's, this is an environment, an industry, a market that is in the process of maturing. And I think, a lot of this you could kind of like Art Blocks did a really good job of illustrating the art of visualizing things through on-chain tech, like really looking at how we could visualize and use the blockchain as a medium with art, embrace generative processes and really and visualize it in different ways and make that art, a new art form. I think, we're still very early. To your point, yeah, absolutely. Like I think we're just very early in the maturity cycle of digital media in general. And now with AI, like, who knows? Like it's just you can imitate so quickly and iterate so quickly that maybe digital media won't even have the proper chance to be understood because AI is driving the cycle so much faster than a typical media would have time to be absorbed.
People are going to run back so quickly to physical art because they know that it can't be faked by an AI.
Well, I don't know. I have a beautiful painting by Pindar Van Arman.
Okay, a little bit different, right? Because like there's Pindar Van Arman and there's like three other artists who have the kind of like robot painting infrastructure able to create that work, right? But the point of Pindar Van Arman is that you know who Pindar is, right? And so like him. It's not the AI-ness of the work. It is the knowledge that the work was created by a craftsman. So even when Pindar uses AI in his work, like he's still a craftsman working with a tool. And I think people already seek verified realism the same way that people on Twitter are always talking about like let me rephrase that. There's a new kind of media literacy that's starting that I have learned about only recently in response to the creation of AI content, right? In the same way that 5 years ago during a US presidential election cycle, when, somebody around my grandparents' age, say in their 70s and 80s, would send me a link to what obviously seemed to be like ridiculous, exaggerated news. My initial inclination would be to look at the URL there's always like truth-supporter.net or something like that. And I'd be like, okay, well, there's 3 backslashes and a bunch of strange characters in this URL. I know that this is fake, right? That was the media literacy that I was born with, or that I grew up with because of my exposure to the internet. The new media literacy is immediately upon seeing a video or a photo, looking to see who posted it, and you base the reality of the asset on the trustworthiness of the source. So, like, you know that the painting you're referring to is Pindar Van Arman, trustworthy source. You understand his process, you understand the tools he's using. But for most people, encountering works of art digitally, you can't verify that, especially if you're trying to discover new artists. Much easier to look at a painting, I talk about like craft shows all the time, or like farmers markets or something, or night markets or whatever. You're walking through and you see an artist in like a little tent with like all of their works around. It's fairly verifiable that those works were made by a person.
Well, I don't trust them. I don't believe them. No, I'm kidding. No, it's the M dash. What's that?
The Chinese forgery masters.
Right.
There's like a whole town somewhere in China.
I mean, I personally, I think there was a guy too. What was his name? There was a documentary about him. He forged artworks, and then
the German guy, Brett Traki.
Yeah, and he sold them to museums, and he had this whole like his trophy was like getting different works by different impressionist artists and stuff into different collections, and he was so prolific, and people were debating, is it art or forgery at a certain point.
Beltraki is a German former art forger and visual artist who was admitted to forging hundreds of paintings in an international art scam netting millions of euros. Beltraki, together with his wife Helene, sold forgeries of alleged works by famous artists including Max Ernst, Heinrich Campendonck, Fernand Léger, and Kees van Dongen. Though he was found guilty for forging 14 works of art that sold for a combined $45 million, he claims to have faked about 50 artists. The total estimated profits he made from his forgery surpasses $100 million.
I mean, kind of incredible, kind of amazing. And that just tells you this person is not alone. They just got caught, obviously. So how many works within museums are real? But here's the thing. This goes back. I was just going to say the M dash. It's a signature of something. It gives us, like, we understand when we see that.
Yeah.
Of course, you have a different kind of relationship with the M dash because you come from a literary world and you understand the origins of it.
We'll see, though, I have had to. I mean, perhaps this was a marker of my immaturity as a writer, but I used to be big on M dashes.
Yeah.
Which is really just a way of hiding the fact that you can't synthesize 2 thoughts into a single sentence, that you have to like break apart one thought to add a different thought in that for clarification. So I think it's a marker, but I have learned to reduce by, a factor of almost 99% the amount of M dashes I naturally use in my writing because of AI, which is what I think you were about to say.
Yeah. No, isn't that fascinating? And that's something that, like, in the same way you could recognize, a URL structure, we could all, the 3 of us, I'm sure Renee more than most, can really recognize like AI content very well by understanding either mouth movements or sounds, or they're just different things. There's a comedian, what's his name? He's on the Daily Show, Ronnie Chang, I think. He had a good stand-up piece about young people being born in the internet era, being able to recognize these subtleties, these markers, and having complete inability to communicate that to a boomer generation who's constantly getting impacted, fraudulently scammed by internet related content, and it's impossible to communicate the kind of vernacular that we just we understand, we can see, and of course we're gonna have stuff that generations below us are just so able to recognize, and we're not gonna have a clue. This is just internet lingo.
Yeah, it's a good point. In the interim, however, I mean, I don't know, with static works, especially when so many works are avowedly made with AI, I wonder, again, if it will become necessary for artists to reveal or discuss their technical processes so as to, I mean, we have no idea how the public at large is going to respond to AI created artwork en masse, right? There is still a huge just sociocultural pushback on anything made with AI. Even if people support it ideologically, they may not want to purchase it for reasons that I don't think it's necessary to go into. I think are pretty self-explanatory, but also pretty individualistic. Like, I don't know when AI is good enough to fake anything. You know, when that media literacy is so difficult to attain because it requires such mastery that, you know, anybody who wasn't born and naturalized in the AI era is not going to have. Like, I think the revelation of technical process becomes even more important because it is almost like a built-in way of proving the human hand behind the process. And that's just not going to be possible the better and better that these tools get on the face of the artwork. It's already so hard. I wrote about this in the newsletter a couple weeks ago, like me getting fooled by an AI video because like I'm not media literate enough. And if I'm not media literate enough, I live all the time with this shit. I know I know acronyms for tools that other people don't, or the lay people of the world don't. People who don't write about art and live with digital art, like things that they wouldn't know. I don't know. We always say this, which is like, imagine how it's going to be a year from now. And like we said that a year ago, and a year from then, which is now, like all of our fears have come to fruition. Not our fears, but our predictions have come to fruition. The like art that's made with AI is hyper realistic. These tools are so advanced in the way that we prophesied because that was the only way that this could have gone. So a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, as crypto art maybe like reaches this period of or ends this period of prolonged immaturity, I don't know. Will the game already be lost, so to speak? Because,
well, I mean, we're talking about the content that humans make as being hard to delineate between what's handmade, what's AI made, whatever. I mean, very quickly we're going to have no ability to discern if the artist is human or not. Like the creator, not just the output, but actually the maker. Like we will have no ability to understand if the person collecting our work is human or the art. Like we just won't know. It will be so seamless. Like I think that's where a lot of this, especially as we get closer to AGI and everything else. I mean, this stuff it's not going to be discernible. So it won't be. I think because of that, then it's just I don't know what the impact of that will be. That's but it's going to be radical. Like if you really don't know if your favorite author is human or not, like that's going to be pretty remarkable. Terrifying. And
workshops where we have people sit and write in real time. Everyone phones off. It'd be like a short story in the next hour.
Oh man, yeah, maybe. I mean, it's about a rediscovery. AI collectors will save our bags. I love it.
I mean, saying that 4 years.
Yeah. It is fascinating though. You're definitely going to have market makers who are kind of like AI driven. The cabal will be an AI swarm in a way.
I mean, we know like from building this ourselves that like we are trying to pioneer like agentic AI capability. It's really just not there yet. You can't get these things to obey very specific directives. You can't really give these things the ability to like make variable decisions on like what art to collect, etc. But I mean, this is again always the prophecying. Like a year from now, if agentic technology is so much better, if Eliza OS is so much more complex and and it allows so many more intricate directions to be given to agents, by a factor of 2, 5, 10 compared to what it is now, and that thing is so widely available. Plus, there's other industry competitors like, who knows what an AI that is given a little bit of leeway to collect artwork if they are told to prioritize aesthetics over process, where they will go. Will AI agents be more, I guess, interested in collecting AI artworks if they are not given a specific instruction to or not to do so? Like, we don't know.
It's going to be interesting to see, right? I mean, we also need is more data points that are being connected via like software that like pulls it together and analyzes it according to whatever human directed instructions or prompting, or maybe it's even the agent that writes the prompt itself according to particular base settings, to maybe in real time at some point just like analyze huge piles of data on external data, like on external clusters, and then get the result back and like make the decisions. Yeah, like it will be like baby steps, step by step, from it might be able to do stuff. Maybe some custom AI agents are already doing stuff like that. It's just not yet like publicly released. Like you don't know, but once open source stacks that allow you to pour your data sets or pour your the data points into a particular software that analyzes, and the output is a decision of something that you want to purchase, and you attach that to a wallet and it buys the decided piece. I don't think it will take too long until that exists, but then you still need to understand if that was a good financial decision or not. And over which time frame. There's so many like things that could work out and could go wrong, and there will be lots of trial and error, and people are going to lose lots of money with this and make lots of money with that. But then again, it can be luck. At some point it will be measurable that it is not luck, and then you can buy that software or subscribe to that piece of software and fuel your agent with that, because it works and gives you a certain percentage of return per year. But like everything has to prove itself over time. Otherwise it's just maybe just marketing, maybe just talk. Like, how would you know how real something is? From the outside, a lot of it is a black box. At least to the regular lay person,
Yeah, and this is, I guess, the ultimate point, which is like, if so much of content in general, but especially art, lives within a black box, then there's always going to be a thirst. And maybe it becomes a segment of the market. Maybe it completely overruns the market. There's going to be a segment that wants to escape that black box and what it may or may not say. And I wonder if, like, again, revelation of technical processes is a method by which artists can remove themselves from that black box.
Art's funny though. I mean, it's a very emotionally connected kind of like path, where a collector might resonate with your work and they do not want to know. They just resonate with it, and they feel it. Their ego becomes completely tied to that image or that feeling, that emotion. And they don't care. They don't want to know. Like, if you start sharing too much, then it starts to kind of dissolve that emotional response that someone gets. Art is very kind of unusual like that. It's a big difference between, like, almost what you're describing is kind of like design. Like, for a design, you have blueprints, you have drawings that articulate how something works. For a building, for architecture, you have a series of dozens or hundreds of drawings that articulate how something is meant to be put together, and then hand that off to a builder to assemble it. And it's kind of like, right now I feel
art, a lot of the debate I see online about art is kind of like falls in that territory where are we talking about design? Are we talking about art? Are we talking about something else? It's kind of I've always felt I'm maybe more of a designer than an artist in a way because I like to reveal a lot, and I like to share the puzzle pieces that I create with others to see what they make with them.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting though because I think it you get such a rich variation of approaches to this, both from the artist and the collector, what they demand.
We can talk ourselves up and down a ledge with this conversation, but after 51 minutes, I feel like maybe we should kick off for the day. If you guys have anything else you want to add to the topic, please do. But otherwise, maybe we head out. What do you think?
Sounds good.
That's good. We will solve this existential crisis another day.
Well, thank you very much, everyone, for being here. Thank you, Renee and Untitled, for joining me on this MOCA weekly town hall. We'll be back next Thursday, same time, same place. Thank you to Brian Brinkman for being in the chat with us. Thank you to all the people who entered our Decos giveaway. Congratulations to Mr. Nice, Crypto Eric, and Woody Woo. I will be in touch with you shortly about how to get your Decos. And thanks everyone for playing. We're looking forward to next time. We'll have this way smoother, way more enjoyable. It'll be way more hair trigger, and it's just gonna, it's gonna be crazy next time. Brian Brinkman, we always enjoy your takes, and we always appreciate compliments. Thanks again everyone for being here. Thanks for watching. Thanks Renee. Thanks Untitled. Thanks Brian. Thanks everybody, and we'll see you all next week. So long. Bye.